Yeah, it can shape up there for Fnatic. Det, Leshrac. That's something we saw a lot more in Singapore Major with Ubi Neon, but it's a hero he can perform on, of course. I don't think Fnatic's dipped into that too much. Again, having a huge preference for his axe, because why not when his axe is that good?
Hmm.
This is looking a bit dicey for GXR. Again, we talked about Luna. It's not necessarily a late core. Viper and Leshrac certainly not slow cores. Very quick on the uptake, very quick with the aggression. You've got the Chen to just sustain your push, to amp up some of the healing and the damage coming out as well. So it lines up with this timing Fnatic have been running for the past 4 games from their lower bracket finals as well. GXR, I mean, they've got the solid combination with DK Grimstroke. Double Dragon Tail, Inkswell initiation with a blink in. It does give you angles to go for. My question now is how exactly they want to kind of have their win condition in your dream, or what he wants to play in the pause one. They could shift TA to safe lane if they are expecting Viper mid. Issue is Fnatic, it's very flexible. Leshrac and Viper still swap that lane around, so you might eventually still run into that hero. And it just makes it a little bit harder for GXR to build that draft. They go into Magnus now as
Wow.
well. Hmm. I don't know about that. It's pretty darn slow on GXR. Even if you have a quick blink timing on Mag, RP cooldown is not that short. It's not the longest, but you are kind of tied into that cooldown now. You can amp up your TA's damage, which is great. Like it's a good amount of damage that the TA does benefit from. But this early game is looking pretty later. You know, it's not quite there. It's more towards the late game with the threat of RP, with the threat of these huge damage coming out from the TA and the Magnus down the line. I don't know if it's going to match Fnatic's pace. Like, just Leshrac and Viper, it already kind of matches their game 1 draft, and we saw how fast that went.
Yeah. But is this a pause one mag we're looking at, John? Like, do you believe this is in your dream safe lane Magnus? Otherwise, what is it
I'd
like?
say Alacrity mid. Alacrity mid mag.
Okay.
IYD safe lane TA. You could maybe go something funky like a support Magnus. We did see that before from, I believe Paulson used to run it, if I'm not mistaken, or Jocam used to run a support mag, either or. You could go that route. I don't know really if the support Magnus will do much for you. Like, you could threaten with Skewer in lane. That's it, and maybe amp up farming. So probably a core, just because that's its best position right now. And likely, I mean, it could be In Your Dream or Alacrity. So there's still flex as to figuring out where you want to lane the TA and Mag. Very open there. I think Fnatic still has the answers regardless. Like, even if the Magnus is safe, TA mid, a TA versus Lush isn't too bad. Viper versus Magnus is very good for Viper. So either way, you have a way of handling these heroes in every lane.
That's what it feels like, right? Because if you go the safe lane mag, then you can easily just go the off lane Lesh and run the Viper mid against the TA. And if they try to run the safe lane TA, then you can just send the Viper off lane and run the mid Lesh rack. Does kind of feel like Fnatic's got you no matter what you do. Unless we're looking at like a DK safe lane. But then even that kind of gets destroyed by Leshrac Viper anyway. They'll go for the Lion last pick, so it is going to be a core Magnus. That'll be a support line popping up. Fnatic, it does seem like they need their own support. I mean, what do you want here with the... we haven't seen Chen in so long. I just don't know what to expect from it.
You want to go push fast? Go Jakiro or Shadow Shaman. Right? Like, I don't think they're lacking anything at all here to handle any of these heroes. Maybe you want a more defensive support. Chen kind of does that, but it's not defensive in the sense that you have a Dispel. Still, I think you just go all in this fast pace. Jakiro could be good. Shadow Shaman we've seen be impactful, especially if you play to that tempo. Maybe you just look for, I don't know, if you want something to be defensive, Oracle's an option, but it doesn't really suit this lineup. It can still be impactful, though, with the Chen on hand. That's a lot of healing. They've got last pick overall. They can kind of just throw whatever out there. GXR, I mean, they have good hold with line. Double Hex is great. Double Earth Spike's great. Double Finger is amazing. They do have to execute cleanly here on GXR to get to his angles. And I think Fnatic, even with all that damage, I mean, you're fighting into Chen with a lot of heal. And the Necro, okay. Support Viper coming out here?
Might be support Viper or support Lesh. Death's on the offlane Necrophos. Jabs is on the Luna.
Oh my god, here we go again.
Oh,
the old school Luna support.
This is what annoys me, John. When players do this, when they run these garbage supports, and I'm going to say garbage because it is. Then the next day in my pubs, I lose 10 games in a row because every teammate wants to play Pos 4 Luna. Till this day, people are still picking Pos 4 Sniper. I don't understand it. And Jabs, if he wins this game, I'm going to be so upset because I can't play Dota for the next week. I need this patch now, Jonathan. I need it right now.
Oh yeah. Well, you're gonna get your wish soon, right? It should be like tomorrow or something within the next week.
Is it tomorrow?
Right?
I'll
Tomorrow
take tomorrow
or Tuesday.
off. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll find out. Still, Fnatic, Necrophos close out for death. It's still great in lane up against Magnus. You're just gonna be able to sustain yourself. Maybe you can look for more aggressive skewer plays here. With Magnus and Lion, Earth Spike to line up the skewer can kind of make that happen. So there's more aggression there for GXR. I think the timings of Fnatic is still too clean. Like the Luna support focusing on the Aura build and the Lucent Beam is very impactful. You can just amp up the damage in your push, run people down. You've got a great mini stun on hand.
That's literally what they're doing.
Got to be ready to hold off. Yeah, that's it.
They're literally taking advantage of the Aura to buff up all the creeps, all the heroes, and they're gonna try and speedrun this game again. That's what they're doing. That's literally the game plan. Sickening.
Pretty much
Fnatic.
it.
Sickening.
You know what would have made it more perfect? Instead of a Necrophos off lane, a Venge off lane. So you get the Venge Luna combination of old. Remember when that was in meta? The core Venge and the support Luna. That was a thing for a while.
I don't want to remember, John.
Oh god.
Just
Ooh.
I'm telling you, every game, Pos 4 Sniper, Pos 5 Luna, like I don't understand it. I mean, Jabs, he just does it to me again. I talk the guy up. I try my best to make him feel good about himself, and look what he does to me, John. Picks this Pos 4 Luna. What am I meant to do with this?
Well, I'm keen to see what he does himself. Again, emphasis on the Lunar Blessing is going to be pretty darn nice, especially for that early push. So we'll see how far he can get that done. Or he drops the forward wards, just ensuring that the lane is going to be manageable. I think the one thing with Luna support is it's slower in lane. Right, like you don't have great range to harass people out. Your Lucent Beam can be a bit costly for your minuscule mana pool for what it does. And it takes levels to really get impact with the Lunar Blessing. So you do have to get as much as you can from that lane here. And we'll just have to see if Jabs can do that. And he's had a fantastic day. Everyone in Fnatic has. GXR, they just need to fight against it somehow. Just get big on your TA and hope for the best from there.
Just get big. Yeah, just get good. That's it, right? Like for GXR, just... Oh, thank you for your analysis, Jonathan. GXR, bottom lane, they're going to be able to get the bounty. No problem. Fnatic, they'll back off. 2 for 2 trade on the bounties. So I can't wait to see what the item build-up is on this support Luna. Can't wait. He's going for an earn first up.
Yeah, early earn just for the regen. Good. Really good with the Necrophos on hand as well, so you can kind of burst heal him if things get dicey. The one thing with support Luna that I do appreciate is that it does have 325 base move speed. So it's a speedy little support. You can sneak in and out to try to get hits off. You will have to watch for this combination from GXR, right? We talked about this. Magnus Lion Lane for In Your Dream Paulson. Earth Spike into Skewer can be pretty scary. In Your Dream is holding on to his level 1 to see if they can get that lined up. But Jabs does the right thing. Lucid Beam level 1. If you see the Magnus lining up, just stun him up. And your Necrophos should be able to walk away.
Easy peasy. Over in the mid lane, you've got Alacrity there on the TA against Chuan. Excuse me, Chuen. I mean, who do you favor in this lane? Like Alacrity, he's playing TA, right? And we always have this agreement that TA just doesn't lose. Chuen, can he do anything on this Leshrac to win out the lane, or do you think it's just inevitable that Alacrity will have a good time regardless?
Alacrity is just going to find his farm no matter what. It's really down to what you do with your level 6, and that's where the difference lies. Alacrity will have to focus more on farm, whereas Chuen will have the opportunity to push towers, and the TA is not going to be ready for a tower trade at that point. So that's what you have to push here for Chuen. Just ride your levels, get your stable farm, and once you're ready to push, force the TA to kind of dip out of the jungle and respond, and just slow down her farm that way.
It's going deep, that T1 tower. Top lane, In Your Dream already dropping extremely low on the Magnus, but we'll have the salve up there from Paulson. Of course, you've got the bot lane as well, John. You've got Joe Cam and Mizu there against DJ on the Chen, and you've got Raven on that position 1 Viper. He ran this earlier on, and obviously it worked out the first time. Mizu, ironically enough, is on the DK again against his Viper. So he's just not able to catch a break. Do you think there's a good way to kind of lane this for GXR, or do you just try and survive as long as possible?
There's no two ways about it. This is a very painful lane for GXR. Just survive. Just don't look for the aggressive plays. You could maybe try to line up on DJ. Probably the better target to get. The issue is DJ is just spacing himself out nicely. Dual range against a melee core plus a range support. Mizu can't really contribute much. You can see he's already focusing on Breed Fire over Dragon Blood for now, going 1-1-0. Not the traditional build you'd see on DK, but this does allow him some trickle of farm, and just at least the levels can start pouring in. But DJ's getting off some great pulls on the Chen, denying a creep wave, and just slowing down that pace. And eventually Raven, once he hits his... Well, he's at level 3. Once he hits even more levels, it's just really hard to handle.
Have you seen the skill on that neutral creep DJ's got? Apparently, if he hits a creep, he does 2 damage for 20 seconds. And if it's a hero, it's for 10 seconds. It's so... Like, who comes up with these skills? Like, why is it 20 seconds on a creep, 2 damage at a time? On this
It's not just that. It's the regen reduction.
Oh, the regen reduction. That's why he's abusing it.
We talked about this before with the Ench picking this up. It's like, what does it mean, 35? 35 HP reduced? 35%? What do you mean? What does it mean?
Means beta game, John. Means beta game. That's the answer you get. Joe Camp, still going to take a lot of harassment here from DJ. He'll be alright. As Mizu, he's going to pull the creep wave away. It's the best you can do right now against the Viper. Just don't lane against him. Pull the creep wave every chance you can get. Back over in the mid lane, Alacrity still having a great old time as expected. And Chuen, I mean, he's not having too bad of a time himself. 17-2 in terms of CS. Going to pick himself up a water rune. Jabs actually denies the water rune away from Alacrity by taking it himself. It's a very nice little play there from Jabs. He's actually level 3 now on Jabs on this support Luna. Never mind that though, because bot lane, Raven does end up going down. Mizu, he's going to try and chase for a bit more. And surprisingly enough, they get first blood on the Viper of all things.
Yeah, they finally line up the aggression. Looks like Raven might have just overextended a bit. I think the big difference in this lane is that DJ on the Chen, I mean, he can provide a lot of healing on hand. With the Divine Favor up in the headdress, it's just not enough to sustain if you get caught by the chain spells coming through here from GXR. So they find that opening, they get a kill, which is great. Raven, I don't think he's going to mind too much. It's still same old story. Viper comes back in fully topped up with mana, fully topped up in HP, can just go back to farming, applying that poison attack every single time you see Mizu come in. The one thing that is happening though is that Jokam does get to start to stack up. And you do have that TA who can clear it out. They have not really been able to scout out yet with DJ to find those stacks or block them off. So eventually, if you don't stop it, you will get that flash farm out for Alacrity.
It's just these little, these small creeps just running. And Death's in trouble. Looks like there was a skewer back into that tier 1 tower, and they've got him. Nice pick off there for GXR. And it was indeed a skewer back into that tier 1 tower, and you haven't really got the ghost form up yet on the Necrophos, so Death really couldn't do much to survive through that. So I suppose things are going decently well so far for GXR. I mean, 0-2 their way, slight net worth lead. Every lane's just going fine. I'd say maybe In Your Dreams farm's a little bit slow, but he's going to have the jungle to go back to. And again, the main man is going to be Alacrity on that mid TA that you've got to watch out for. And of course, he is top of the CS board at the moment.
Yeah, he's having a great time. He still has complete control of his triangle, so there's going to be a lot of flash farm coming through here for the side of GXR. For Fnatic, it feels like we're just waiting for levels to build up on their side. You know, as a support Luna, you really need to rush into the 6 mark. That's when you can have some impact with the Eclipse. They also have built up a huge amount of triangle stacks, at least in the large camp. So there's also a gold injection here for Chuen, and he will find it. So eventually going to line up. They have left Raven alone, and he is in a dicey area.
That he is. Inkswell's going to connect Raven. That is a lot of damage out. Lose some beam there, but it's not going to help out their position 1 Viper. GXR, they're doing a fantastic job of really abusing Raven when he's alone. Just running him down, apparently. And Mizu lands the Dragon Tail. You have the Inkswell after that. And the amount of damage they're pumping out is just too high.
It's just not something Viper can really sustain against. And they keep finding these angles. They are opening up a lot more possibilities. Mizu, he's going to hit his 6 slightly earlier than Raven at this rate.
RP.
Once that Dragon form is on roll.
Yeah, top lane. They've got Death. Rotation from JoeCam just in case they needed the help, but they didn't. Bottom lane now, Mizu, he's been left alone, so they are finally going to be able to punish him. And DJ will be the one to take the kill. But still, it's a 1-4, still net worth lead going the way of GXR, and this is already looking like a much better game than the last two we watched.
Yeah, they're off to a really good early start. They're keeping Raven in check for the most part. He is still able to get some pressure on that bot tier 1, but you are happy with the space for Alacrity, all of this damage coming through. They were actually finding that mid tier 1 faster.
JoeCam gonna run, will not be able to survive as now Alacrity needs to get out as well. Luckily he does have the trap slow going for him, so he does end up being just fine. Now Chuen, he might start to look to try and force some pressure onto that tier 1 mid tower, as he has taken over in terms of the net worth. He's going to get the invis rune for himself. We'll see what the game plan is, as Alacrity is still standing his ground, but well, even he has to be somewhat cautious. You can get through the refraction very fast. They don't get the split earth though, so he'll be alright.
I have to say, Alacrity's done a lot of good work on mid. Mid tier 1 of Fnatic down to 287 HP against the Lesh. Like, the Lesh should be doing that to the opposite tower. He's just not been able to get in position. And this is just great lane management coming out from GXR. They're getting this nice early start in their win condition. Alacrity, if he finds his tower, it could be dicey, although...
Yeah, but they might find his life. He'll keep going after the tier 1, and he is going to get it, but it is going to cost him his life in the end, as now JoeCam has been slowed up. Chuen wants to keep going with the lightning strikes out, but they don't have the damage. Oh, no, they do. The chain lightning from DJ's neutral creep. It can cast that from an absolute mile away. And now with those heroes going down, they're into the mid tier 1 themselves.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Yeah, just a nice simple push coming out. Chen can sustain this. TPs are starting to come in. In Your Dream is going to be there to defend, but it's already gone. They also managed to TP down bot to prevent that push coming out from Mizu with the dragon form. So they're not able to find that bot tier 1 in exchange. And this is when the map just opens a bit more for Fnatic. They could start to consider blocking and contesting these camps. They have dropped the sentry in the ancient area. Alacrity's still going to be able to find some good farm here. And this should give him his Dragonland. So the TA can start to hit a little bit better, get in a good position to fire the damage off for his team, and also start to buy some space out for In Your Dream. Saving up for the Echo Saber next on the mag. Should be able to ride to that point quite well, but Fnatic are starting to group up a bit. Death, he does have the Reaper's Sight, he just needs to find a target to use it on.
He may have one soon. There's a smoke here from GXRs. Paulson and JoeCam, they're going to move into the high ground. DJ is waiting there with the stomp out. Paulson already lost half his HP to those creeps. So maybe now they just go after JoeCam instead. I mean, he's a bit of a sitting duck. They won't pop the Reapers for it. JoeCam going to try for the TP play, but he won't make it. Really nice attempt there from JoeCam, trying to push the limits of his hero. Jabs was able to get the Lucent Beam in time.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Decent enough punishment coming out from Fnatic. They are grouping 4 heroes on the bot lane to find those kills, but they are giving some space out for Chuen to build up on Lesh. It does feel like the Lesh is your scaling hero here, so you need those early items to be up. Yule's ready on Chuen. Travel's next. Once you have that up, you can run down any hero, but GXR, they are getting a lot of usable space. Alacrity is still number 1 in net worth, along with In Your Dream tied up there. So they are kind of getting the flash farm going. In Your Dream has his Echo Saber up into the blink next. Once he hits this blink timing on the mag, that's when the team fights can start to break open for GXR. That's when they can start applying their aggression. Fnatic will have to be a bit cautious about giving that timing away, but they will go with a smoke play here.
Well, they've got their mech up now on the Chen. I think they want to try and abuse that timing now, as DJ does have his ulti plus the mech up. A lot of heal coming out. They're going to run right into that position while Magnus. Chuen is there. Yule Scepter is out. Split Earth does land very well. Now your Eclipse flies through. And of course, Jabs, unlike Carry Lunas, does have the max Lucent Beam, so that Eclipse is going to just tear you apart.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
It's already lining up here, and you can see Jabs is going for the Ags build that we used to see in the pause for Lunas. So the the orbital cannon will be in play. We'll just have to see how long it takes. And just look at the position of Fnatic. While the top tier one's being cleared out, they're already in the jungle, looking for someone to TP and to farm, looking for the punishment to immediately fly out. Of course, GXR do find a bot tier 1 in exchange. No defense coming out here. So they are buying a little bit more space out. for those big cores to farm, and it looks like they're not biting the bait. They know that their heroes camping up top, but if you don't come in, Fnatic can still push. They've got Leshrac, they've got Diabolic Edict. It's not going to slow down here.
Yeah.
Dire structures are
Move in.
fortified.
Glyph is going to be there. That'll force them back. But you start to looking towards that Roshan now. Like, they've got the Alpha Wolf. They've got the Luna Aura going. And that's not max level, mind you. It's only level 2 right now. They've even got the Wild Ring Ripper Aura for that bonus armor. I mean, they've got everything they needed for a Roshan. But Mizu's going to jump in. Fingers there. They've got DJ. Now GXR showing up. Big rotation. They do at least find the Pos 5 Chen. Chuen, though, and Raven, they're sticking around looking at Mizu. But he does have a lot of help around him. They aren't going to try and force it. They will back off. You are missing a lot of sustain without this Chen. And that's basically 550 HP immediately healed up with the mech and the ulti. And so they aren't going to try and force a fight. They will back.
They play it safe here on Fnatic. Great punishment from GXR. Gives them control back in the jungle as well, and they managed to drop a nice ward to monitor those rotations out. And oh, Raven.
Dragon Tail's there. Soulbind with the double silence. Rod of Atos, however, does connect with the Viper Strike. They should have plenty of damage with the Reaper's Scythe. Mizu, he will just drop. Now, in your dream, you've got RP up. But you can't just run into 3 heroes, especially when Raven's on that Viper. They're going to TP more in, though. Lacrity is here on the TA. See what he goes on. Earthspike is there onto our Necrophos. Death is going to survive. Meanwhile, Eclipse is out on In Your Dream. He might be dead. He is.
Oh, man.
This Pulse 4 Luna. It's working.
Oh.
Oh, it's working. Oh, no. Alacrity. Top lane. Melt Strike out on Raven. They're going to jump in on the Lion. Just dive the tier 2 towers. Paulison. He's going to drop Alacrity. He will at least get Raven on that position 1 Viper. Jabs will give the tip over to Raven. Alacrity, he'll just keep farming. Oh, what do you do? Just keep farming, Alacrity. Just run. He'll use the traps to make sure they can never catch up to him. But Chuen is getting quite close now. Yule Scepter up, Alacrity, who's going to go into the mill. They dust him up, they knew. Split Earth is going to land. They'll have enough to burst through him now. There's no way out for Alacrity.
And Jabs is on a killing spree 3-0.
No, he's
Very
not.
good positioning
Don't
from
worry
our
about
Luna.
Jabs.
It's paying off. The Ags is coming out. That seems like a good idea, Mike. You know, next time we play, I'm picking that. I'm not. This is a PSA. Do not do this at home. These are pro players. They know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And they will hit their spikes. GXR, at the least now, they've got the Deso up on their TA. The Blink is almost done on In Your Dream. So Blink RP is almost there. They've got double damage rune in this spot they're at as well. So they can kind of look to force a play out. We haven't seen the RPs from In Your Dream. The Blink should simplify that process. The damage is starting to line up. But Fnatic have been pretty good in throwing their bodies for it. They haven't taken tier 2s yet, which is holding them back a bit.
Go Cam.
Perhaps, oh.
Yeah, caught out. I mean, Yule Scepter's there. There's no way to get away from Joe Cam. It's just a guaranteed death. North side, though, they've got the Reaper Scythe back up. Alacrity, he's around. Look at those side blades. I mean, these side blades, how long can they go?
Oh, very long. That's just it. You know, they fly a mile away with the Dragonlance up. And that is something that DJ will have to manage. He has a massive creep army. Just waiting for someone to misstep and kind of punish there. For the most part, GXR, I think they're playing this right. They're playing it slow as they can, and just building up. Although,
No, Mizu, he's going to jump in. They know the Chen's around. DJ may have just been out of position. They might be able to punish now, and they'll get the finger out. Nice pick off again from GXR. And they are at least maintaining this, well, not really a massive advantage here on Fnatic, though. Chuen now going to move in. There's your Eclipse out. They've got In Your Dream. The Reaper's Scythe is going to connect. Now they're onto Mizu. They will take down Davion. I don't know if Fnatic are trying to play Cavern Crawl in this Game 3 of the Grand Final, whatever they're doing with this draft. It looks very experimental, but they are making it look very good. As Death now, he's going to jump forward with the Ghost Shroud, just wanting to get that slow out onto Polison, but the Earth Spike is going to ensure that he can get out. The Tier 2 tower, however, has no chance.
no, and with that, they can take the outpost, start thinking about Roche if they want to go that way. and start to really shut down this top jungle area. No way in heck GXR can maintain that farming presence here. They are getting a lot of space for Alacrity. Even with the Deso up, he knows he needs more, saving up for the BKB on the TA next. It looks like he should be able to find that at a decent pace. But even then, I think you're going to need a blink as well on Alacrity. So a ways to go on the TA. The big issue for GXR is, we've seen in your dream, he's willing to join fights, he's willing to put himself forward. He has not been able to find the RP. He's holding on to the blink. Fnatic just manages to find the angles in that jungle fight, and they just never get the opportunity to use those spells. Now, Nerocious opened up. Jabs has the max level Lunar Blessing. So there's some good damage coming through. Not the fastest process, but it will eventually go. They are scanned out. There's enough time to respond here for GXR.
Yeah, rather unfortunate for DJ and the rest of the team is he doesn't have an Alpha Wolf right now, John. So he could have probably used the bonus damage. Fortunately, they aren't going to be able to get one either. Fnatic. Just going to keep going on this Roshan, slowly but surely. And I think GXR, they just don't think they can fight.
I'm surprised. Like, they had the info, they've got Blink RP. That is such a prime spot to just get that initiation off, and that's going to be a very free rush. No, they leave the rush. You want to get a kill.
Yeah, in your dream. He might have missed a scan there. Death, he's going to keep rushing forward. He's got the Reaper Scythe up. He can buy them time. Inkswell is there, but you've got Jabs coming in now, and he has that Eclipse in 5 seconds. He just wants a couple Lucent Beams in your dream. How do you find your way out? Chuen, oh, the Split Earth just barely misses, but it won't matter. It just won't matter. And they're split pushing the best they can here. Mizu is trying to just run away from Chuen, who he does get out, luckily. But you've just lost your Pos 1 Magnus once again. On the bright side, Alacrity is top of the net worth board. So you've still got that going for you, at the very least. But quite frankly, I mean, every team fight that goes by, he just hasn't been able to do anything.
Yeah, he's not joining his team. I think he understands that as long as the game goes a little bit later with a farm TA, you can fight back. Like the BKB and the Blink just going to open up a lot of possibilities here for Fnatic once it's up and running. You did see Fnatic smoke up, but they smoked under a ward. So GXR are fully aware, shouldn't be caught out unless Fnatic swings some very strange directions here.
Well, they're swinging. Mizu gonna have to run south ASAP, get the bullwhip out. Should be okay to TP in time, though. I say that, he's got 23 seconds on cooldown for that TP. But Fnatic, they won't see him, so you know what they're going to do, John? They'll go back for some stacks in the dire triangle. Nothing wrong with that. It's like the rest of Fnatic. They'll have a gander, see if they can find anybody. And Death, he's very far forward with the Rod of Atos out. Raven right behind him. Paulson already losing half his HP. No Death Pulse connecting, though, so Paulson, he should be okay. Death is very confidently moving forward. But he is going to be alright. They can't punish him. Even without the Ghost Shroud.
Radiant's top tower.
Jokan. Oh. Yeah, Jabs popped the Eclipse. He's trying to go after this Grimstroke. Meanwhile, mid lane, Paulson's dying. A big RP is out on 2, and now with the side blades, they might be able to beat them. DJ, he does die, but the Split Earth is there, and in your dream, he's getting perma-stunned. Reaper Scythe on top. My goodness me.
That was the first RP we've seen from In Your Dream connect. It only kills off DJ once more, and DJ at this point really doesn't care. Alacrity?
Yeah, Rod of Atos, he's going to pop the BKB. They'll try to force the fight, and they'll get it. Chuen still willing to fight with this Aegis and might just be able to secure Mizu. As now Alacrity tries to kill off Raven, but won't quite have enough. In fact, Chuen now, he may have gone too far. Mizu, he had the BKB. So, Earth Spike is going to connect. Mizu, he'll come back in with a Dragon Tail, and Alacrity should eventually have enough. Hand of God is there, but not quite enough to keep alive their mid-left rack. GXR, this might be the turning point for them. It does start to feel like Fnatic's draft will start to drop off very, very soon. And GXR, slowly but surely, have started winning out these fights.
Yeah, they've managed to get control, to get the big kills they needed, taking out the Necrophos and the Lush. And Fnatic maybe just not respecting that control, not respecting the BKBs coming out. This is the spike we were talking about from GXR. With the BKB, a lot of the damage is taken out. Alacrity can just focus in, get the hits off. is rushing the Daedalus. So he's not even going for the blink. He knows just with all the damage you can have on the TA, it will be enough to rip through the side of Fnatic. And now Fnatic need to be fairly cautious. They are trying to farm up for the Heaven's Halberd eventually coming out on death. He is trying to go for the Shiva's Guard first, already has the plate mail up. So it's a ways off. If Fnatic manages to get, say, a pick off on Alacrity, that could be big. But Alacrity, again, has been very, very conscientious of just staying away from these risky spots to farm. He's just sticking in his jungle, sticking in the bot jungle, sticking in lanes where Fnatic don't show up. Fnatic, though, they do smoke up. They want to keep that aggression going.
Yeah, Paulson's in a good position here to break the smoke, but they actually avoid him.
Radiant are scanning.
So no smoke broken. Alacrity thinks he's safe. And he's going to run right into Raven. He'll pop the BKB TP, though. He should be just fine. He will be okay in the end. Nothing to really go through that apart from the Reaper's Scythe. And I believe Death just wasn't close enough to be able to pop that.
Is under attack.
So you can see, obviously GXR, they still don't want to fight. Looks like they have spotted out Paulson with his Tinker Ward now. This should be a nice easy death onto the Lion. He'll try to buy himself a bit of time. But there's only so much time you can buy against Death. Reaper Scythe is there.
It is a fairly long cooldown to commit, but it is a kill. It starts the lineup once again for Fnatic, just helping them out a bit. They are lagging behind by 2k. A lot of that farm is flying out onto Alacrity. It's basically all on him, and it is paying off. In Your Dream, still managing to catch up once he has his BKB ready. And that's when things really get a bit scary for Fnatic. Like, they don't have the presence they really need to push for their advantage. A lot of their damage is taken off, a lot of their control is gone. You could maybe pivot towards jabs to start farming up on the pause for Luna. You could take a more farm-oriented position as the game progresses, but it feels like a bit slow. Although,
Run of Atos out. They've got In Your Dream. Split Earth is there. Chuen going to start moving in, but a Soulbind is out as well. They've got the double silence and now the double ink swell. Raven, he's still trying on that Magnus. Mizu's holding everyone else back, but the hills are coming in. Now Alacrity's around. He just blows up DJ with the Meld Strike, and this is a fight they could definitely take here. Still chase down Raven. In Your Dream is still going to die to death on the backside, but Alacrity is not done. Side Blades, it'll kill off the Courier and Raven, as Chuan, or rather Chuen, is going to try and run, and he will make it out towards the right side. Who have they got? It's going to be Death, who's still trying to fight, still staying alive, but not for long. Not while Alacrity's around. They'll get him. They took quite a while to try and kill off this Magnus, and in the end, once Alacrity joins the team fight, it's all too much.
yeah, he's just doing way too much damage. His BKB use has been on point as well in preventing Fnatic from getting the control off. He's just very patient with that use. He knows that after the Eul's comes out, you just break off that chain stun from Chuen. You have a lot of free reign in getting damage off. For Fnatic's side, they don't have anyone remotely close to Alacrity's farm. Closest is Chuen right now, but he's lagging 5k behind. The rest of the cores of Fnatic are starting to lose ground here. Raven on the pause 1. Viper is behind even In Your Dreams. Magnus, which is to be expected. It's a Magnus with Empower. And it does feel like GXR is starting to really hit their timings. Maybe in a minute or so, you're going to have that blink up. You're going to have the Daedalus up in about 3 minutes to 4 minutes as well. And Alacrity can just rip right through the side of Fnatic. Fnatic now, it feels like they need a lot more, especially on, I think, the Luna. And we've seen Jabs try
Really?
to save up for the Ags. I mean, it's just not having impact right now. Like, if you had the Ags, you could maybe do something to the back line, rip through the supports first, with the Lucent Beam being tossed out in a blinkable hero like, say, the Necrophos. So you could kind of play with Blink Ghost Shroud and Lucent Eclipse on top. But if the Luna never meets these early item spikes, then it does taper off, and you could maybe pivot towards jabs as a core, but when you don't have farming items to help you clear out and get some farm, and when you lose map control, the Luna doesn't really have much room to grow, so it's a bit tough to get to that point, and GXR just managed to understand what Fnatic wants to do, what Fnatic's been doing in past 4 games, just hold off that early aggression, have this really good win condition, and just keep building up, keep stalling the game out.
Just to confirm, John, Jabs is having no what? Sorry? What word did you
No
use? No,
Impact.
Impact. Well, okay.
Anymore.
Just in
Not
case anyone
anymore.
from my future pubs is watching, that's partially the problem with supports like this is you tend to lack some impact. Thank you for that, Jonathan.
That you do. Yeah, it's not quite there. I mean, he did have to go for the Force Staff just to save some of his cores from getting caught out in the traps, getting too slowed down. So they've got a way of bailing out, saving there in that process. But the damage contribution from Lunar Blessing, it doesn't scale. It's a hard amount of damage.
Yeah.
It's not percent based, so it caps out at 35. At this point in game, it's still nice. It's not game-breakingly nice anymore. Not like when we were, say, at the 15 to 10 minute mark. Felt really good. Fnatic now, I don't know. Like, if they keep building up, eventually, maybe not the Leshrac, but the Viper can still have impact towards the late game if you itemize right. Raven's just not been given a lot of space to get that done. You also have a lot of utility coming out from Death, but he's just stalled out. Like he tried to rush the Shivas because they were so far ahead. Now he can't even finish that up. He's been stuck with just the plate mail for a very long time. He needs his Ags up as well, just to have the lower cooldown Ghost Shroud. I think you really want the honestly, you want the Ag Shard here.
Okay.
You need that Death Seeker. You need that nice ethereal form to stall out and stall the damage coming through from Alacrity. That could buy you enough time to re-engage or just bail out, and could be wanting to kind of help Fnatic. Give them some tools to play against this burst on Alacrity, but with how much the game's slowing down for Fnatic, he doesn't even have room to finish up any of that.
Okay. It's certainly looking very good right now for GXR. It's looking kind of like a very difficult game to lose, quite frankly, at this stage. See what Fnatic can come up with to try and win out this game. 3 is bot lane. Misu apparently does end up killing off Jabs on that Luna. Yeah, Jabs having a very tough time now as top lane. Oh, they are falling apart. Chuen caught out by himself. And now GXR really starting to feel it.
Yeah, they are getting those big kills now. The Lesh kill is really important for Fnatic to not let go of, just because he is their most farmed core. Like, you need this Leshrac to be on top. You need him to build into his BKB, all the items you might need down the line. And it's slow going now. GXR, they've played perfectly well. BKB up in Your Dream. We saw this be impactful for Alacrity with his BKB. Now In Your Dream doesn't need to worry about lining up his RPs. He's going to be able to do so and not die immediately. And did I just see a Sideblade bounce to DJ from the Ancient Camp? I think I did. Jeez.
I'd believe it. I didn't see it personally, John, but so sometimes I'm not even near Alacrity and I see Sideblades flying across the screen. I'm not sure what he's hitting, how it's reaching that far, but yeah, Sideblades are basically a full map kind of a passive or ability, whatever you want to call it. You know.
Yeah. Definitely. At
Slash
this
map
point,
hack, quite frankly, because you don't need vision.
I mean, the thing with TA, right? Not only is Sideblades dumb, your Ags is really dumb. Your Ag Shard's really dumb. Why? Why does all of this keep happening on TA? Like, for Psionic Protection, why is the cooldown on Tooltip 30 and in actuality is 10 seconds? Why do you get more Psionic Trap charges and a silence for 3.5 seconds on the Shard? And Vision? Why?
I don't know, John. It's a very good question. Hopefully, if we do get a patch within the next couple of days, it won't be an issue anymore. But yeah, this hero, it always ends up popping up again somehow. Just the base kit of the hero just seems quite busted, to say the least. GXR, so they're ready to start grouping up and maybe forcing down some lanes. Got the Ags up on Mizu now, so the Ancient Black Dragon is there on Mizu. They do spot out Alacrity on the TA, but they know they can't really do much about her. And Alacrity's about to hit that level 25 mark now, so you're going to have the +8 or the 1 second bash on the Meld Strike. Either way, both of them seem very nice. I suppose GXR are also just waiting on that Roshan, which is about 13 seconds away. Oh, and he picked up a double damage rune. Of course he did. I was wondering where the rune was, but he got a double damage. Why am I even wondering?
Yep, it's there. Setting up for that Roshan. Does respawn. They've got the trap vision. Roshan number 2. Aegis, Shard, Cheese, very important for both sides. Fnatic, I don't know how they fight in there. It doesn't feel great right now. It's such a tight spot. We've got the Arpeter collapsing
Oh,
here.
nice Earth Spike. Paulson right on the edge there, mid force staff of Raven. Look at the damage.
God.
That's without the double damage activated yet, John. So Alacrity now on a mega kill streak. Gonna go for that Roshan very soon, I'm sure. Meanwhile, the rest of Fnatic, they are going to try and make their way over to the bot side of the map where Mizu has popped the Dragon form. Dragon Tail is there, but the Ghost Scepter is going to be quite effective as now Chuen is going to move in. Mizu going to be targeted, but the Soulbind is going to hold them back as Jabs, he wants to go the other way. Meanwhile, Roshan is still happening, and it's gone. Bot lane, but Mizu, he's BKB TP out, he's fine.
Yeah, they only have the Reapers to rip through, and even then, you don't really want to use that. You want to use it for kills now. Like, you have to hammer in some of these bigger cores down. GXR, 14k lead. They are terrifying on Alacrity's TA. He does go for the Meld Bash over Refraction, feeling like he doesn't need to worry about anything, and he doesn't. Right? Like, there's just nothing to handle him right now. The one thing Fnatic has to kind of put a lid on it is the Heaven's Halberd on that. So he can kind of disarm, stop the damage from flying out on Alacrity. I don't know if it's enough. Like, as long as Alacrity gets the BKB before the control comes out, he doesn't have to worry about the disarm. And in that window of his BKB in 6 seconds, I'm sure he can find those big kills anyway. So I don't know if you're going to have enough.
Alacrity said second. Everyone was like, yeah, go. Don't worry about it. Death resumes the game. He gets a tip from Jabs. How is it though, John? I mean, I know we keep coming back to this, but double damage runes in front of Roshan right before it spawns. What's happening? What's happened? Is this an unknown, like a hidden patch that we haven't seen yet?
I don't know.
Maybe they should make that permanent. Just double damage right before Roshan respawns. That'd make it interesting.
Yeah, for sure. It would force people to really fight around specific Roche timings. That's certain. And that would spice it up a bit. Of course, it could just lead to very one-sided results as long as you control that area of the map. So, can kind of work against you if you're on the wrong side. Still, do have the go-ahead, so we will actually get the actual unpause from Jabs. He's taking the reins of that button. And the side of GXR, well, now they can just think about tier 2s. Melt the last outer towers. They've got both waves mid, top shoved in. And it shouldn't take too long to clear this out. Fnatic high ground defense is decent with Leshrac. Their output now is just really not scaling. Raven's trying to save up for a Scotty. Manta nowhere close to finishing the Scotty, but the Manta's relatively close. So you can have a little bit more stats, a self-dispel on hand. Not sure if that's going to be enough to really stem the tide here. Mid tower falls, top, not long for this world with Alacrity on the job. And the map's just shrinking. Fnatic, they need so much more to kind of jump back here. And their high ground defense, it's good, but it doesn't feel like the overwhelming sort of stall forever kind of defense.
That it does not. It's going to be a very, very tough high ground defense to expect here from Fnatic. Great news for GXR though. I mean, everything's just going well with their draft. No speed running this time, at least from Fnatic's end. So they're looking at Chuen in the mid lane. Earth Spike is out, but a nice Yule's just in the nick of time. But the Horn Toss is there with the Inkswell. Now the skewer back. They have got the Leshrac. They will finger him down. He has buyback. Now Alacrity almost one-shots DJ. Onto the T3 tower with the Black Dragon up. It's just so easy to get through these objectives. No problem whatsoever. And that'll be your tier 3 tower gone. Another Dragon Tower is out. Raven. It'll be okay for now, but the Rax is completely gone. GXR, Inkswell to allow Alacrity to run back up, but the Rod of Atos is there. Raven, he can't really do anything about it anyway. Horn Toss, in your dream, he's got that pos for Luna. So Jab's gonna drop. Inkswell out again onto Mizu. He's not gonna be able to reach though. I suppose back down to the bot lane. I mean, why the hell not? You're still very healthy.
Radiant's bottom tower.
Yep, nothing to stop it here from Fnatic.
Dire's bottom tower.
And I don't know. I know how they hold out. Maybe if you get a good chain stun with your Lesh and someone gets Reaper's Sight on, I think, In Your Dreams, probably the target you want to go for, or Mizu. You can't really rip through Alacrity's 2 lives right now. So you just have to settle with the other course. That could be the play for Fnatic. But Alacrity has the Swift blink up. So he's just insane in TA. He's going to be able to do what he wants, get the damage off. They even have the Nullifier out on Mizu, so the Ghost Scepters aren't going to save you. Ghost Form's not going to save you as well. Just so much here on GXR to ensure that they have another game to play. Let's see if Fnatic can maybe work this defense. It's not looking likely, but with the Ag Shard on
Dire's bottom tower.
Xuen, he can at least make the high ground a little bit more painful here.
I mean, a little bit more painful. It is annoying, but the way how dominant it is for GXR right now, it's hard to imagine them losing. With a 24k net worth lead, just massive, massive net worth lead here for GXR. Speaking of the Devils, they are going to move into that top lane now. 1 lane of barracks to go. Still got a range barracks in the mid lane, but you can take care of that very easily. So they'll get started, but the Split Earths have come out now. I guess it is going to make it difficult for them. I can't help but laugh every time I see it. It's just so ridiculous. These reoccurring Split Earths. Now Alacrity going to go in. Raven, he won't be able to dodge on the Nord. Tuan, he's going to be able to get out with a Nullifier. Now the RP In Your Dream. He's got 4 heroes. Inkswall's there. Won't toss them up. They are just going to melt. Oh, In Your Dream. That's it, Raven. He's seen enough.
Whew. That's what we were waiting for. Kami-sama manages to close out in style. And Fnatic, they try something different with this draft. They go with Luna support. Doesn't quite pay off.
That's what you
and
deserve.
GXR.
Every time.
Yeah,
You pick pass for Luna, that's what you get. You lose.
They tried to speed run, and for a while it looked like Fnatic. They were finding the objectives they want. They were taking some of the early fights, but Alacrity found the space. He managed to go forward, use the bodies that GXR were tossing forward to really get the farm up, and eventually it's a TA. We haven't seen it lose, well, mostly not lose, and did pan out this time for GXR. Fnatic, I think, I don't know why they had to shift that Luna. I don't think it would have been any worse if they ran safe lane Luna. They went with the off-lane Lesh or off-lane Viper there and just pick a support to just kind of run and have their Tricore in hand. It felt like that would have shaped up. The experimentation does fall flat. GXR, they had the patience. They had the belief in Alacrity to make it work. They had faith in their dream to land those RPs. It does pay off. They hold on to the grand finals, 2-1 now.
Yeah.
We'll see if they can keep holding on into the next game. Fnatic still 1 game away from winning. We'll see if they experiment again in the next game.
I mean, all jokes aside as well. I mean, the draft was very creative from Fnatic. I do appreciate the creativity and maybe just experimentation before TI rolls around, but we'll see what they do for game number 4. It is MLP johnxfire. We're going to be away for 10 minutes, but right after that 10 minutes, we'll be back with game 4's draft.